The reason you're no longer making any gains is because you need to train less. That is according to Mike Mentzer, a golden era bodybuilder who coined the term heavy duty training. That is going to absolute failure on a set, but in an attempt to minimize your body's recuperative bucket of energy, only doing one set? How about only training once every 4 days? Well, I wanted to see if this was potentially a long-lost secret for endless natty gains. So I trained this ideal routine for an entire month. Would I super physiologically shock my body into building more muscle than ever? Or would I run into some serious downsides? Let's find out. But you gotta focus. To begin, I studied up. I purchased and dove into Mike Mentzer's high-intensity training book, as well as listened to a plethora of Mike Mentzer's audio recordings. I do have to say, he sounded extremely confident in his ideology.
Contrary to popular opinion.
So after days of digesting this material, taking notes, and writing out my first workout, I was finally ready for day one. This first day, chest and back, only consisted of 4 sets. That's right, 4 sets, and that's if you count a superset as 2 sets. And the first exercise was that superset. It was supposed to be pec deck, which I substituted with cable cross, done 1 set 6 to 10 reps until failure. Supersetted with incline press with a weight, where I should fail somewhere between 1 and 3 reps. Now, silly enough, with all the time I spent researching this topic, I failed to look up how to warm up properly according to Mike Mentzer. Don't worry, I'd figure this out the hard way later, but thankfully for the time being, because I wasn't sure of my weight selection to hit these rep ranges, just setting up the weights and trying to figure that out probably saved me from catastrophic injury and acted as a warm-up. Intensity. Anyways, after picking out the weights the best I could, I attacked the first exercise. While still trying to use decent form, I knocked out my first and only set of pec flies, failing at 9 reps. Now, silly me, failing to anticipate the fatigue going into the second exercise of a superset.
Oh, dude, this is no way. I'm already tired. This is not gonna work out right.
I feared I may have picked too much weight.
Oh, shoot. What do I do? Ugh. Move. I should have anticipated the fatigue after a superset.
Trying to quickly salvage wasted time, I backed the weight off and was able to crank out 3 reps with 135. Not the smoothest beginning to this journey. Moving on to the second exercise and the second muscle group, back, which was supposed to be a close grip, palms up pull downs that I substituted with close grip, palms up weighted pull-ups, 6 to 10 reps to failure. However, the weight I chose, I failed at 4.5 reps. Now, according to Mike Mentzer, if you don't get inside of the goal reps, which was 6 to 10 in this instance, that is okay, as long as you get close. The next time around, when you're stronger, you should then be able to hit inside of that rep range using the same weight. Would that be the case? We'll have to wait and see. The fourth and final set and exercise, deadlifts. According to Mike Mentzer, who had an insanely developed lower back, the deadlift is one of those ultimate exercises that targets nearly everything in the posterior chain, from the upper back to even the calves. He claimed you can get so much done with so little volume using this exercise. He recommended for this workout picking a weight on the deadlifts where you could do between 5 and 8 reps to failure. So that I did, and just like that, after 1 set, I was done. And now done with the workout completely.
So yeah, I'm actually sweating, which is crazy, because I only did 4 sets. I mean, they were intense, don't get me wrong, but it's just like, I feel like I should do more. I really do feel like I should do more. Mike would say no, so we gotta listen to Mike.
And thus I started the long road to rest and recovery. In this program that Mike Mentzer recommends, he suggests at least 4 days or 96 hours between workouts for proper rest, recovery, and thus maximal muscle growth. While the amount of rest was arguably the most important part to this training ideology, doing nothing for so many days in a row was for me mentally the most difficult.
So it's been 2 days and I feel recovered, but we still have 48 hours. 48 hours left until I get to lift again. This is just so much rest, but maybe something magical will happen after a few of these sessions. So like after like 20 days.
You so burned yourself out with all those exercises. Your body never had the opportunity to recover from the merely exhaustive effects of the exercise, let alone grow.
And what after felt like an eternity later, I was finally ready for workout number 2, legs. 1 set of leg extensions, 8 to 15 reps to failure, supersetted with 1 set of leg press, 8 to 15 reps to failure, then a small rest, finished with 12 to 20 reps to failure of standing calf raises. That was it. And once again, I began the process of 96 hours of rest until my next workout. Now, strange enough, right before my next workout, I ran into a little issue.
Alright, headed to the gym to finally hit the 3rd day of this workout. It's been over a week. Now, something just absolutely frustrating that's going on is all of a sudden my knee, this right knee just started to hurt out of nowhere. But like, what the heck? Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's literally been freaking 96 hours since I trained legs. Didn't hurt at all throughout those 96 hours until I'm about to go train arms, and like, it just doesn't, like, what did I do? Yeah, like right there, it's just like aches. Oh. Well, we don't have to use legs today anyways. We don't have to use legs for 96 hours because we're training arms today. So hopefully that clears up, but yeah. All right, let's go.
A potential knee injury out of nowhere, it didn't make any sense. But then to make matters even worse, zealous to do something, going into the first exercise, starting with lateral raises, 6 to 10 reps, I felt a twinge in my traps up my neck. Praying that it was just a minor muscle strain, I felt totally compromised the rest of my workout. But because this was finally a day to train, I made myself suck it up and I finished the few remaining sets with the best intensity I could.
Mixed feelings on that one, honestly. So yeah, I think I'm going like too intensely too quickly, and it's totally my fault. So I need to figure that out before I go into the next intensive workout so I don't get injured or keep getting injured, because I thought I was gonna feel like just amazing on this. Just telling you where I'm at right now. Not feeling the best.
Over the next 96 hours of rest and recovery, using my red light therapy device to tend these minor injuries, which, praise the Lord, works so well for me, I also continued to dive deeper into Mike Mentzer's training philosophy.
Lifting the lower legs until they are in the straight leg, lock knee position.
So only 1 rep? So 1 set, 1 rep.
After what felt like an eternity of rest, it was finally time for workout number 4, legs again. Now this time, I would do my best to properly warm up according to Mike Mentzer. Simplified, that is, to do the minimum amount of warm up so that you can confidently perform at maximum intensity without getting injured. So this means the number of reps and sets in a warm up is completely subjective to the individual, so I did my best. So after what I believed was an ample warm-up, I jumped into the workout, which was just 1 rep on the quadricep extension, but held for time using a weight that was around 30% heavier than I used on workout 2. Mentzer said you should be able to hold this for around 10 to 25 seconds. I got about 20. And then I waddled my way over to the Smith machine where I already had the weights set up, where my goal was 8 to 15 reps until failure. I got 8 reps. And then after a short rest, some more calf raises, 12 to 20 reps. I got 12.
My legs don't even feel pumped. It's like I was kind of getting it on the warm-up, but then like, I don't know, it just...
Only 4 workouts into this journey, but due to all of the rest days, I was already over halfway done with 1 month of Mike Mentzer training. Was I starting to see any progress? Well, according to the scale, I was nearly 4 pounds up.
Holy schmuck, dude. It's the socks. It's gotta be the socks, right?
Now you have to keep in mind, I was doing way less workout volume than I was used to, and in all of the recovery days, I was doing way less activity than I was used to in order to conserve my body's recuperative ability to hopefully build as much muscle as possible. Now with all of this decrease in activity, I was still eating the same. In fact, out of boredom, I found myself potentially eating more.
What's going on over there?
I'm foam rolling!
What do you think she was doing, guys? Pooping!
And this is what I think led to my drastic weight gain in only a little over 2 weeks. But most importantly, was a little bit of this weight gain muscle gain? Well, comparing my start point to the middle of this experiment, I do look a little less defined in the middle, and when I turn to the side, my arm even looks a little smaller. Flexed, I definitely have way less definition midway through this experiment, and my legs look about the same. So was I potentially losing some muscle and just gaining fat? Well, what about my strength? That leads me to workout 5, which begins the cycle over again, doing the exact same workout as day 1. But theoretically, if things are working properly, I should be able to increase the weight and/or reps on each exercise. So after warming up with the minimum amount to get me warmed up to go maximally,
Feeling strong on these warm-up sets.
I started the superset of exercise 1, cable flies, which I managed to get 1 more rep over day 1, followed by incline press, which I managed to make 10 pounds heavier than day 1 and still crank out 3 reps. But I do have to ask, was I able to bump up this incline press 10 pounds because I didn't exert extra energy failing on a heavier set like I did with 185 on day 1? Or was I actually getting stronger? After using the deadlifts to warm up for back, I then went over to perform my weighted underhand pull-ups. Using the same weight, trying to beat my reps of 4 from day 1, I ended up getting the same amount of reps. But quickly thinking, I came up with a solution to apply another technique from Mike Mentzer's training: rest, pause, lifts. That is when you are lifting close to your max, and instead of just continuing each rep fluidly, you rest about 10 seconds in between the rep, and then attempt to do another rep. Repeat this until you cannot anymore. Now doing this, I was only able to get 1 more rep, but because of the overall low reps and heavy weight of this exercise, that is a 25% increase. Anyways, moving to deadlifts, where I was going to attempt to do 5 reps the same as day 1, but increasing the weight from 300 to 315. However, I only got to 3 reps before I had to take another rest pause. Luckily, with the rest pause, I was able to get 5 total reps. However, using this technique for the final 2 exercises made it hard to determine if I was really getting stronger or if giving myself the extra rest was allowing me to have these increases.
Checking for hernias. Kind of joking, kind of serious. Anyways, these workouts are just like throwing me in the gym. Get out of the gym. It's just like, what even happened here?
So once again, dazed and confused, and with mixed strength results on workout 5, I was truly wondering if I was actually making any progress or if I was just slowly losing gains over time. But then diving back into the research, reading between the lines, something very simple but absolutely pinnacle to this program became apparent.
I don't know how I missed this, but proper exercise performance. Perform all exercises in a strict manner, taking 4 seconds to lift the weight, pausing 2 seconds at the top and lowering for 4 seconds. I guess I have been lifting pretty slow and controlled relatively, trying to get the most stimulation out of just this one set, but like, have I actually been doing a 4 second, 2 second pause, 4 second lowering? I'm gonna implement that now. Better now than never. Why is this only like a little this should be, darn it. But at least we've been doing slow and controlled, but I think we can be a little bit more quality with the reps from here on out. That's what I'm gonna try to do.
The huge component to this program that I overlooked: tempo. Now, I was doing my reps slower and controlled throughout this experiment so far, but because I was trying to be consistent to see if I was making progress, there should have been some kind of standard. And that standard for proper rep tempo, according to what I found in Mike Mentzer's high-intensity training manual, was 4 seconds on the contraction, a 2-second pause at the top, and then a 4-second eccentric. So from here on out, this would be the tempo I would use on every rep and every exercise, unless specified by Mike Mentzer to do differently. Now with this new tempo, I found myself having to lower the weight on some exercises. However, with more time under tension, I felt a better contraction and what felt like a better stimulation to the muscle groups being targeted.
When I give you the look, come in and give me the assist.
Great.
Just on the way up.
Is that even allowed?
Yeah, it's called an assisted rep.
Also, ready or not, with this new consistency, I wanted to try some more of Mike Mentzer's advanced training techniques to push myself beyond the failure point. So on workout 7, implementing forced repetitions. That is having your training partner, quote, assist you just enough so that you can barely complete the next rep with an all-out gut-busting effort.
Oops, sorry. Dang it.
And let me tell you, first implementing this technique with bicep curls was an out-of-body experience. But hey, maybe my arms would finally grow. I do have to say, this was the first workout where I felt like after, I might actually need 4 days of rest.
Dude, my bicep is fried, yo. Those assisted reps, maybe we went a little too far there. We might need an extra rest day now.
Another very important component of this routine that I tried to implement in these final 2 weeks of this experiment was dialing in my nutrition. For according to what I researched, Mike Mentzer believed a diet consisting of 60% carbohydrates, 25% protein, and only 15% fats. Mike Mentzer was an advocate of higher carbs because he believed that the higher carbohydrates would fill the muscle glycogen stores but also provide adequate energy for performing these high-intensity workouts. So I bumped up the white rice a little bit and I cut back a little bit on the fattier proteins. But I think most importantly, I stopped having all of those junk food snacks that I actually was getting into from being so bored the first 2 weeks of this experiment. So how was all of this extra time I had with such infrequent training evolving throughout this journey?
Besides working, what have I been doing on all these rest days to fill my time if I'm not going to the gym? Man, that kind of sounds sad. It's like we live to go to the gym. But yeah, anyways, I heard Mike Mentzer recommend getting into philosophy, reading a book, doing something, learning something. But I'm just going to be honest with you guys. So what I have been doing is watching a little bit more TV. But besides that, to get out, just get out of the house, I've been going out into nature and I've been grounding, walking around barefoot. And I've been doing this for about 15 to 30 minutes, pretty much once a day now for a couple of days in a row. But, other than that, I found myself going to the stores and just browsing, but not buying anything. And then I am reading Mike Mentzer's book, obviously, just kind of going over that here and there, but that can only fill so much time. I also think I'm allowing the house to get messier. You would think I would have things cleaned up more, but it's the gym, it just sets the rhythm sometimes. Anyways, I'm trying to dial in and do this right, and I do feel like I am a little bit more fatigued than I have been the last couple of workouts due to the better tempo we've been using, and also maybe those forced repetitions. So with that being said, I am going to power through. I'm going to do this to the best of my abilities and finish this off. We're going to attack this and try to make these gains. All right.
So trying to minimize any strenuous recreational activities on these rest days in order to follow Mike Mentzer's principle of trying to maximize recovery. This begs the question, what about cardio or aerobic activities on or off these workout days? Now, according to what I researched, Mike Mentzer says if you must do cardio while trying to build muscle on his HIIT workout routine, keep it to a maximum of only twice a week for a maximum of only 30 minutes per session. But he highly recommends that if you want to put on as much muscle as possible in the shortest amount of time, because of, quote, your body's limited recuperative ability, keep your aerobic activity to pretty much none. So this is what I tried to do for the final week of this experiment. And I've gotta be honest, it didn't feel the best. But with the end in sight, I focused, I stayed positive, I thought anabolically, and I powered through. Stepping on the scale, I was approximately 1/2 of a pound heavier than when I started, but thankfully, a little over 4 pounds down from the middle of this experiment. So did I put on some dense natural muscle? Comparing the before and after, it looks like to me that I lost a little size in my arms, shoulders, and my neck even looks a little skinnier. What do you guys think? Now flexed, it clearly looks like my chest is a little smaller. And from the back shot, it just looks like I lost thickness. My legs, however, look pretty much the same. Now what about strength? Well, I decided to run the bench and squat strength test that I did before starting this experiment, but after doing the eccentrics challenge where I actually did put on some significant strength relatively. Doing the 225 test, hoping I would put on more strength in the bench press.
Oh, shoot, bro.
It appeared I lost strength. But then again, you do have to keep in mind, I didn't do flat bench for over 30 days. Now when it came to running the squat test, I actually did not feel confident at all and decided not to go up to the weight I was targeting. I'm sorry guys, I'm just trying to stay healthy and uninjured so I can make more videos. But yeah, it felt like I lost confidence in my core, tracking pattern, etc.
Oh, I don't know.
Now when it came to the grip strength test, it looked like thankfully I was exactly where I was before in trying to close the two with the right hand, but it looked like my left hand lost some squeeze strength. Now as you can probably guess, my cardio was absolutely abysmal.
So I was only on the trampoline for about 1 minute and just like out of breath, bro.
Now you would think after 30 days of not jumping, my vertical jump would be pretty bad as well. However, to my surprise, when testing this out on the same day, I felt pretty snappy, and in fact, it felt like I was jumping just as high as my previous all-time best. Could there be something about taking all of this rest time when it comes to recovering and developing explosiveness? I don't know.
Hey, whoa. Now remember, this isn't necessarily an athletic program like agility, cardio, and all that other stuff included. It's more of, well, basically just intended to build as much muscle as possible. Now with that being said, as you saw in the results, it doesn't appear like I built any muscle. In fact, I may have regressed. Lost some size and whatnot, but I am actually a half pound heavier than when I started. But it does look like that is probably body fat, I'm just gonna be honest. So do I think this program is poo? Well, not necessarily. After really analyzing my results and like trying to think about what may have happened, there are a ton of variables, obviously. Now you guys saw me going wrong with like not warming up properly in the beginning, blah, blah, blah. But I really think the overall progress not going right was actually due to me coming from being used to more volume style training and then just trying to go right into high intensity training and then taking 4 days of rest. You see, I think my mind-muscle connection from the get-go was more geared towards this volume training rather than being able to channel that mind-muscle connection and go to my level of intensity that would require 4 days of rest. I probably only needed about 48 hours of rest before my next workout, especially considering that it was upper body and then lower body would be the next workout. So what I actually think would have been better for me, I probably would have made progress if I would have started the program, and yes, with proper warm-up sets, that would have helped as well. But most importantly, I think after that day one, listening to my body and rather than just taking 4 days off, being like, okay, we went as intense as we could on that first day, but we were feeling absolutely recovered 48 hours later, let's get into workout 2. And then just being more subjective to my own feeling rather than, listening to 4 days off before jumping into the next workout. But with that said, keeping in mind that as I got more better at making that mind-muscle connection for going intenser in those supposed intense sets like I kind of was getting towards the end of this program, then maybe I would need 2 rest days, 3 rest days, and maybe even 4 rest days. I don't know. It did feel like towards the end of this program I was actually making a better connection in these sets for just like going at a higher intensity. All I'm trying to say is I think I may have made progress if I would have done this a little bit more subjectively rather than just trying to be super strict listening to the exact instructions, because at the end of the day, following the principle, as you get more intense, you need more rest. I don't think I was intense enough to need all that rest in the beginning of this workout. But yeah, with that being said, there are a ton of just common sense good points and a lot of interesting things in this book, and I feel like you can really kind of apply it to any training method. It's an interesting read. It's high intensity training, the Mike Mentzer way. Check it out. Yeah, just very interesting. And I'm gonna say something that may surprise you, but I actually might come back to training this way with that subjective mindset to myself later on, just because even though I regressed, I still think there was some moments throughout this program where I did feel like, yeah, this is an interesting concept. But yeah, the next time would be a little bit differently, obviously. But with that being said, I do have some more challenges coming out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Have you ever tried any program like this? How was your experience? I hope you all have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe. I have more videos coming out. Stay tuned. Peace. I'll see you all in the next video.